Hello, I know I don't usually show my face or speak in the videos on this channel, so this is what I look like and what I sound like. Anyway, this past weekend I was climbing in the gym and doing some drills that I find to be enjoyable for getting more comfortable with certain types of moves and certain holds as well for my fingers. And I thought I would share this video about what I mean when I say I'm doing drills, because friends that I've talked to at the gym have always seemed intrigued in the past. And the drill that I'm going to talk about today is definitely not revolutionary stuff, but I didn't start doing them until somebody told me about them. So on this particular climbing day, my initial plan was to actually project a V8, a crimpy V8, but when I got on it, my fingers were not having it. So I had to shift to a plan B. Usually in this case, I think about different types of drills that might interest me or shift to like a volume climbing day. Since I knew I was already tired and I knew I didn't eat enough before my session, volume climbing was out. Also, not eating enough before my session was also probably contributing to how I felt on the project. Anyway, I decided to pick some climbs and do my favorite drill that Mark Keel had told me about many years ago when I was training with him, where essentially you pick up climb and you repeat it 3 times with a short rest in between. And when Mark had told me about this drill, the main point was to shift my mindset from, okay, I sent that problem and now I never have to get on it again for risk of unsending the problem, to feeling more comfortable with the climb and with the difficult movement in the crux area. So ideally, this is something that you work on at a grade that you still need to work a little bit for the climb, and it's not easily flashable. So during yesterday's session, I picked a couple of climbs. One was a V5 that I did flash when the climb was first put up like about a month ago. But I didn't really like the movement, and I felt like it barely went, even though it had a lot of crimps on it. So this is my first go for the day. And I feel like when I was climbing this, I was just as confused as I was about a month ago. In this part right here, there's a lot of foot movement that I really didn't like. I switched my feet quite a few times. And then in this middle section, I throw for a crimp. And then I barely catch it. And I have to hold it open-handed, with my front 3 fingers, which I also didn't like. So after watching the video, I remembered seeing other people use a right heel hook on that big hold. But that's something I don't naturally gravitate towards because it would require more technical heel hook where you actually have to pull with the heel. And for me, heel hooks that I tend to prefer and gravitate towards are ones that are just like a big hold, a big jug, and the heel is right near my face because it provides like a third hand that allows me to calm down mentally. Anyway, technical heel hooks are something that I'm working on. So I wanted to cut down on the number of foot switches that I did at the beginning and use a technical heel hook to make that throw move by the lip a little bit easier and more controlled. I repeated this climb a total of about 4 times that day. So in this video, this is a side-by-side of the first go of the day on the left, and then the 4th go of the day on the right. So early on, you'll see that I've removed any of the foot switches and I just walk my feet through and use flagging as well. And I use that heel hook. And even with a foot slip here on that 4th go, the overall time is almost half of what it is on that from the first session or from the first go. And it felt much better on my fingers. The second climb that I did for the day is a V6 that has more dynamic movement to it. And I had been working on this one before, but I couldn't do it until last week when a friend helped me with the last move, which is more of a pogo type move and is also a move that I struggle with. So when I was looking at this climb, there were a couple of things that I wanted to try to work on. One is there's 2 footholds at the very beginning, and I start with the lower one, and then I do eventually have to move it up to the higher one for this big move here in the middle, which seemed inefficient. Also, this matching here and moving my right hand up was another thing that I wanted to change. And the third thing that I wanted to change was this foot switch back and forth and just to float my foot up. So I worked on each of those moves in isolation, and then I worked on putting it all together in a single go. And then again, here is the side by side with the first go on the left and the fourth go on the right. And the time savings of this climb wasn't nearly as drastic as the last climb, but it was still about 3 or 4 seconds faster. So that's just one of the types of drills that I do. It's also the one that I find to be most enjoyable and most fun. So if this is helpful for you, hopefully you'll enjoy doing these drills as well. Bye.